Hello, everyone. Oh, I already saw Mihan is here. Oh, so sweet. Welcome to the weekly show of Classroom Without Walls, using technology to reimagine education. My name is I'm the host of this show. I created this Facebook Live show because I believe our society has changed a lot. Social media and technology play a huge role in our changing society. As an educator, I really want to tap into this digital revolution to create a virtual space where we can both be teachers and students and learn from each other and with each other. On this show, I interview leading professionals such as Corina Manea and educators regarding topics related to social media, technology, education, and entrepreneurship. If you are new to the show, like Mihai, I hope I said your name correctly. And thank you so much for being here. And if you are a returning attendee, you know how much I love you and how much I appreciate your support. If you are watching this show on replay, thank you so much, future people, for checking us out. Today, I'm so honored and to have Corina join us all over from Spain and for staying up late for us. And Corina is a dear friend, and she's the founder of Nuts PR. And she is a blogger, a social media strategist, a content marketer, and a public relations specialist. Corina has been blogging since January 2013. So she has been blogging consistently for 5 years, and she has also collaborated with many top industry leaders and in terms of creating blog content or co-creating content. So Corina, we are so honored to have you join us live from Spain and to share with us some top secrets and some top tips that we can succeed in blogging in 2018 and beyond. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, It's such an honor to be on your show. And let me congratulate you for Classroom Without Walls Ltd. That's your big milestone. Congrats.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to the live audience who are here. Melissa is here, Jim is here. Oh, thank you so much. If you guys can let me know where you are joining us from, please type in the comments because I always count. And I think so far I have 15 different countries, people from 15 different countries who have joined the show, which is really impressive, shows us the power of technology. So Corina, do you want to add anything to my very brief introduction? Hi, Jordan. Yes.
Well, I don't have anything to add. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. I'm really honored to be here, and I have no words. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet. Yeah. Oh, Cara is also here. Oh, thank you for joining us, Melissa and everyone. I really appreciate you guys. I feel like I can never thank you guys in the live audience enough. Okay, I will just save that. And so we're just going to get started with the questions here. And as always, I'm going to pin the Be Live link in the comment section on Facebook. Okay, you guys in the live audience, please feel free to click on that link and join the live video chat with me, or just say hi to our amazing Corina.
We would love to have you, so don't be shy.
Exactly, yes. And you can even wear your pajamas, depending on where you are, so we don't mind, yeah. And I'm just going to get started with my questions here. And last year, Cisco published an annual report, and they predicted that in 3 years, video is going to represent 82% of the internet traffic. That is huge. At the same time, as I was preparing for this interview, I was Googling, is blogging? And the top Google search result was, is blogging dead? I was like, wow. So my question for you, Corina, is where do you think blogging fit into the overall social media digital marketing landscape, where we see video, live streaming, VR, AR, all of those things are becoming increasingly popular and dominant.
Well, let me start with a comment on blogging is dead, because I love this. Every year in prediction has blogging is dead, blogging is dead over and over again. And it's been dead for a few years. I mean, we've been for a few years. But in my opinion, saying blogging is dead is like saying reading is dead. I mean, seriously. It's like you don't like to read anymore, you won't be reading anymore, you only will be seeing videos. So no, blogging is not dead, is not going to be dead. It will continue to be an important tactic in every marketer's content and social media strategy, or should be at least. That said, as a marketer, as a brand, as an entrepreneur, you have to meet your audience where they are. Some of them prefer reading, such as blogging. Some of them prefer listening to audio. Others prefer watching videos. So if you want to reach everyone, you have to include those three forms of content in your marketing toolbox. So no, blogging is not dead. It's still part, and it will be part of the marketing mix. But you have to put it alongside. I mean, you don't have to leave it alone. You have to complement it with audio, with video, and whatever comes for next. I mean, you don't have to stop here.
Yeah, those are those are great comments. You know, it's so interesting that you said like blogging has been dead for so many years, right? And actually reminds me of when I had Mark Schiffer on my show. And he's such a great example to show how focused he is. You know, he has been blogging for 10 years, like 2 blogs every single week. And I love how you are also being so consistent, and how you mentioned, and I'm sure we are going to discuss about those later, how you supplement blogging or written form of content with audio and other trendier formats of communication. But those are great point. So anyone, don't feel discouraged if you haven't even started blogging, and it is not dead. And I, as a blogger myself, you know, still gained lots of ROI from doing this. Yeah. So this is a great transition to our next question. Oh, guys, who is here? Our friend Kirk is here. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you everyone for coming.
Oh, that is so lovely. And Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the show. Oh my goodness, my dear Zala is here. Hey Zala, thank you everyone. We are just getting started here, okay? And oh, so lovely. And please feel free, we're talking about blogging. If you have any question, please enter your question in the comment section, or click on the Be Live link to join our live video chat. And as I mentioned, I'm a blogger myself. You know, I know how challenging it is to produce a good piece of content. It takes a huge amount of time. So how do you balance between writing blogs and promoting blogs? And I ask you this question because recently I listened to a podcast, and Amy Porterfield, she has an amazing podcast. If you guys don't know who she is, definitely check it out. It is called Online Marketing Made Easy. So on her podcast, she interviewed a blogging expert. And this expert mentioned that she used to spend so much time blogging, but now she's using a new strategy. So she only spent 20% of her time writing like fresh content, and 80% of her time promoting her content, repurposing her content, updating her old blog content, and she shared that she achieved better results. So how about you, Corina? Like, how often do you publish a new blog, and like how much do you promote? Like, how do you balance the two? And any tips that you can share with us?
I publish once a week. I found that this scheduling works for me. I try it more often, every weekly as well, and I'm not feeling that I'm contributing more. If I write bi-weekly or once a month, and more than once a week, it becomes stressful, struggling with my business and all. So I stay at once per week, and it's what works for me. For anyone, you have to find what works for you. I mean, it's super important. No matter what anyone in the industry says, you have to find what works for you, because the key here is to be consistent. And I agree with the person you mentioned. You have to do 80% of promoting because there is so much content out there. There is so much noise. Your content will be lost. I mean, it will be lost for sure. It's not a question that what if or when. It's for sure it will be lost. So you have to focus on promoting. That said, promoting the 80-20 rule still applies. Sharing only your content will get your audience bored. So you have to include content from other people that it's interesting, that it's in line with your strategy, that it's in line with your brand's voice, and so on. So you have to balance that, but at the same time, you have to have a strategy to share your content so that it's seen everywhere. Even though I publish once a week, I use an app that's called Social Bee. It's a scheduling app, and in it I created an evergreen queue, so to speak, where I add all my blog posts, so that, and I make sure they are diversified over time, and also they are published months after. They are shared months after the content was published. So I make sure to have that queue always filled in with my content and reshare it in a different way, so that my audience sees the content even if it was published a few months back. Now, if you want to talk about ideas, how you can bring your content to life, how you can repurpose your content, I'm happy to share a few ideas.
Yes, and before you share some ideas, what is this like app that you mentioned? What is it called? I didn't hear it. Like a tool that you mentioned to schedule, or
it's called socialbee.io. I'll share the link in the comments, but I'm not sure if I can do it now, so I can share it after our call.
Yeah, or like I think if you want to share, you have to go to the Facebook page to share this, but you can also share it later. Yeah, but it's great. Yeah, like, and I find myself when I started blogging, I was trying to do daily and I couldn't keep it up, and I was trying to do it weekly. I couldn't keep it up. So I think for me is that I just didn't plan my content well in advance, and I really want to learn more about how you do this, Corina. And if you can share some ideas with us, that will be great. Also, I think I saw a question from Corina here. No, from Dory here. She was asking what platform and or social channels do you recommend? And the Medium seems to be popular for some people, and so she doesn't feel good. So do you have some recommendation? Where do you blog?
Yes, I have my own blog, matpr.com. I honestly recommend you have your own blog, because no matter what happens with every other social channel out there, they might disappear. Even if right now it may not seem like they will, they might disappear and take with you all your hard work. So you should have something you own, something that way you control, and that would be your blog, which can be a WordPress. There are other platforms. I use WordPress, but there are other platforms out there that can be used for blogging. And I would use Medium to reshare the content from your blog. Think of it this way. You publish on your blog, you draw your audience there, and then you republish that content on Medium, on LinkedIn posts, and you share your content to fresh eyes, other people to read Medium and LinkedIn posts. So you will be sharing your content with other audiences. So bottom line is, start with your own blog. Even if it's hard at the beginning, try find a frequency that works for you, and then reshare that content to other platforms such as Medium, LinkedIn posts, and whatever else might come up in the future.
Mm-hmm. So like for me, I originally post my article on Medium, and then I copy and paste, like Corina mentioned, I know I don't own Medium, so I copy paste the same article to, I don't know if this is a good practice, to my website, to LinkedIn, and to other places, and especially on my website, and which is still under construction. Yeah. So how much in advance do you plan your content, Corina? Do you use, like, I know you shared a Social Bee, do you also have like a content calendar, or like how much in advance do you plan out your content?
I do plan in advance, 1 month, sometimes 2 months in advance, the content.
Wow.
But I'm always on the go. So I always take notes with blog post ideas that I have in the moment. So even, for example, if for this week I might have planned something, another article, but if there is something I prefer writing about, well, I ditch it and write about that. So it's not that you have to have that editorial calendar and stick to it no matter what. You have to go with your gut as well. It depends what's happening in the social world. If there is an issue you want to address, you want to talk about, maybe the topic that you have planned from a month ago is not working anymore, or it's not that up to date, or things like that. So even if it's great to have an editorial calendar and to have some friends. So for example, in my case, I publish 4 times a month. So I have one interview with Nats PR Spotlight where I highlight someone I admire from the online world. I have, and you are there as well. Right. You guys check the interview with I. It's great.
Oh.
Also, I have content that is inspiring, that gets you moving, gets you out doing something. I also have content that is focused on business. So these are the 3 main categories that I focus on for my blog. And for each category, I have, let's say, topic ideas. So sometimes when I have more time, I write in advance and keep them in a folder. But if I don't have time, I usually write in the same week of the publishing date.
Wow. I love this. I feel so unprepared for blogging now.
Well,
most of the time, I'm just on the fly. Yes. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Deirdre. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. What were you saying, Corina?
You don't have to feel, you have to, it's easy to compare yourself with anyone. I can look at Mark Schaefer, I can look at Deirdre Breckenridge, anyone out there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to do what they do and things like that. No, it's about you. It's about how you like to do things, who you are.
Yeah.
This is, and you shouldn't compare with anyone. Like, seriously, learn from what.
Yeah, but I say this in a good way, but I think you share really great tips. Sometimes I just feel like what do I write about? I think if I could have started planning a little bit earlier, I think that will help me. I also love how you have different categories. Feels like a little bit structure, and under each category you have content. This is great, and which actually reminds me of a video, like a recording that I just watched recently from social media marketing conference in San Diego. And this lady was talking about Instagram, and she planned out her Instagram content 3 months in advance. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 months in advance. So she has a calendar, just like what you mentioned, Corina. She has a category. So category like family, category inspiration, category my business, category interview. So under each category, she has content. So I feel like if you go in this way, a lot easier to produce content and keep it organized and like sustainable and consistent. I'm going to implement this. This is great. Yeah. So do you just use? Go ahead.
If you have those categories, you don't have to have necessarily the topic, but if you have those categories that you choose, you won't freak out that you have to publish next week and you don't know what to write about, because you already have 3 ideas or 4 or how many categories you choose. So if you think about it, you will realize that you could write something for, in my case, business, or something inspirational, or it's time for interview or Nats PR Spotlight. So it takes that pressure off you to write. I have to write and publish right now something.
Oh yeah, this is great. I love this. Like, like Madeline Sklar, she gives homework to people who join her Twitter chat. So my homework for you, if you are interested in blogging, I encourage you and challenge you to create different categories of like relevance to your business, to your audience, and see if you can create content that way. So do you just use like kind of like a Google Calendar or Google Doc or Google Sheet like to write out the categories, Corina, or do you use a special like kind of?
No, I keep it simple. A very simple Google spreadsheet, so I can access it from every device I have. But you can use a regular spreadsheet. You can use whatever works for you. I mean, I keep saying this, but you have to keep it simple because it doesn't have to get in your way of doing things. It has to come natural. So if I'm saying, I say you should use this app or that app. I mean, it will take you time to learn that app, and then how to use, and then you to focus on what to write about and things, and you waste a lot of time.
This is great. I'm going to do it. Yes, I love this. This comment is so timely from Zella. You know, she said that she has like so many drafts, and she's using our interview to hold herself accountable. I'm doing the same, Zella. You know, we can be each other's partner, and so this is great. And I saw Dory and Jordan. You guys were trying to join the live video chat, and then disappeared. I don't know what happened. Just please stay and in the lobby for a few minutes, and I'm going to invite you to join. So if you can come back, I'd love to have you join us for the live video chat. So Corina, you have been blogging, as I introduced to you earlier, for 5 years on a weekly basis consistently, and that is very impressive. So can you please share with us how blogging has helped you in terms of growing your personal brand or business? If you have any success stories, and you can share with us.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 5 years. I mean, it's like I still remember it all started with an idea and a lot of what ifs. But I went on and did it anyway. So bottom line is, for me, blogging has played a huge role in growing my personal brand and also in launching my business. Through blogging, I met wonderful people such as yourself that I would not have met otherwise. I mean, I'm in Spain. You right now are in Korea, so not a chance to meet. It also helped me a lot in crystallizing my thoughts, write better, and also choose the direction of my business. So it did play a big role in crystallizing everything I do. That said, it also played a huge role in landing clients from my business, because through blogging, I had the chance to build beautiful relationships with people all over the world, which led to business opportunities. So yeah, blogging helped me a lot ever since I started.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I want to say hi to Brigitte, joining us from South Africa. Thank you so much for being here, sweetie. And I saw a comment from Kirk, and he is asking if there is an ideal length for a blog post. Oh, I love this question. Thank you for asking.
Well, I don't know if Kirk will like my answer, because a few years back we talked about the blog, the length of an article, and him and I were resonating that it should be around 500 words or so. But ever since then, the industry has changed so much, with so much content. What I found, long form content, which means at least 1,000 words, 2,000 words, 3,000 words, this long content is more favored by search engines, by readers, by anyone. Of course, as long as it's outstanding content. If it's crappy content, it doesn't matter how much you write or how little, it won't stand. So right now, from a search engine perspective, what the industry is looking at, long form content is what is preferred.
Yeah, I have to really agree with this. You know, like it is really like you guys know that I blog on Medium. So on Medium, you can look at analytics. So I frequently check my analytics. The long form content typically gives me like good, much better viewership and engagement in terms of comments and shares. And I have to agree with you. Yeah. So instead of like pushing out content, like quality content, yeah.
When you write long form content, it makes you stop and think about it and give as much information as you can, as much in much more detail than writing short form content. So of course your content will be better than it would be for 500 words or 700 words. And this helps because we are readers on the internet, right? So we look for content that helps us get better, learn something new, have fun, or whatever it happens to be. So if you look at our own behavior online, you realize that other people do the same. They are looking to learn something. And if you give me something step by step, and then I can take it, read it, take it and apply it for myself and actually use it, for sure I will come back to your blog and I will read more because you helped me in some way. So that's the idea, to help people in some way for something they need, with something they need.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, and I resonate so much with this content and this comment from Dorothy. And but I want to tell you, Dorothy, you are an amazing writer, and don't let your self-doubt or insecurities stop you, because we all have. I'm not sure about Corina. Every day I deal with self-doubt and insecurity, imposter syndrome. I think we all have those moments. But what I learned from my experience is just taking baby steps to slowly gain clarity and gain confidence. Yeah. So please don't let that stop you. Yeah. And what do you want to say, Corina?
If I may share with Dorothy something that happened to me. So all my life in school, I've been told by teachers that I cannot write, and that's in my own language, in Romanian. I'm Romanian. So everyone told me I cannot write, I shouldn't be writing, I should be doing something else. And now, several years later, I'm writing in a language that is not native, and I have a blog online. So you can do it. Don't listen to your insecurities. Just keep doing, because you become better and better. And think of it this way. Those thoughts that come into your head that you are not good enough, that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, are just that, thoughts. Just shut them down. Shut up and let me write. Let me do my stuff. Mm-hmm. And you will see in time, you'll get used to this, and you'll stop listening to them. They won't disappear, but you'll stop listening to them.
Exactly. Just, I hate to just stop listening to others, whatever they say, and focus on what you have to do. Yes. And here's another great question from Melissa. And she was asking, how do you handle mixing personal and business content? It's sometimes hard to stay neutral and very time consuming to handle various platforms for personal and business. If you have any advice on this.
I agree, it is hard. But if you are online as yourself, you have a personal brand. So you have to invest in that personal brand. It's your image, it's who you are. Even if you're not online, think of it, if you work in an office or for a company, if you still have a personal brand, it's how the other people that you surround yourself with see you. So you still make sure to do your best in every moment, to show up at your best. That's the same thing online. This doesn't mean you have to be everywhere. You have to comment everywhere, and you have to just go crazy on internet and never leave it. But choose what works for you in terms of what platforms you prefer. For example, I prefer Instagram and Twitter. They are my favorite platforms. And I focus my 90% of my attention there. The same with you. Think about it from a personal standpoint. What platform do you want to spend more time with? And spend that time there. And the business is business in the sense that you have to do it. It's not something that, so we always find time for things that we have to do for others and never find time for us. Mm-hmm. So choose one, start with one and give it your attention, like 10 minutes per day. I mean, if it's too much, 5 minutes per day. Set a timer. Mm-hmm. What you're doing in those 5 minutes, and you can increase from there.
Yeah. Like she has a follow-up question. So I assume she was asking, Melissa, you are asking in terms of blogging, right? So she asked if you have a personal and business like two separate accounts? And so that's kind of her follow-up question.
Okay, no, I don't have personal and business accounts. My personal account is actually my business account. I have everything under my name's umbrella. I do, however, work with clients, and I'm behind their business. So that's what business for me is in that sense. So on one hand, my personal brand is my business, and the other hand, my work with clients.
Yeah. And if I may also add to what Corina shared, for me, I also do not have separate ones. I think it is just too hard. I'm struggling with managing one. And I think having two separate ones are just too much for me. But I do have an overarching consistent theme. Like I used to, this was a mistake I made on my social media journey to talk about random things have nothing to do with my brand until I read Mark Schaefer's book, Known. That book really helps me understand my personal brand a lot better. So now my overarching theme is education and social media. So everything I read about in entrepreneurship, so everything I read about, even though when I was talking about like my personal self-reinvention, I make sure to bring it back to my overarching theme. So it doesn't feel that like scattered or random. So that's kind of what works for me that I discovered over the years. I don't know and if this tip can help you, but just something works for me. So yeah, keep going.
Melissa, I don't know if this helps you. What I did, I don't know your particular situation, but what I've seen the trend on the internet, so to speak, everything is flowing towards personal branding. So if it's your business, you are behind those business channels. So why not use your personal channels and to be able to grow your business? Because people like to do business with people they know, they like. So it's easier to see your face, to interact with you than with a logo, even if you are behind that logo. You can, for example, keep one platform for personal stuff, such as Facebook, your personal profile on Facebook. You can keep it 100% personal, and the rest of the channels use them for personal stuff and business.
Oh, I love this. This is so true. Just from a consumer perspective, even on Twitter, when I see a brand or logo follows me, I don't feel the urge to follow back because I don't know if it is a real person or like a bot whatsoever. But if this account has a picture, a real person, I'm 10 times more likely to connect with this person. So I think that's really like a great way to look at this. Yeah. So hopefully that helps, Melissa. Yeah. And I also kind of have a follow-up question based on what we discussed earlier, Corina. So within the last 5 years, and you have been blogging for 5 years, how has blogging changed for you? What are some of the old blogging practices and that you no longer practice? I know we discussed like 500 words. You cannot don't do that anymore. Anything additional? And what are some new tricks and tactics that you picked up that have been working well in 2018?
Well, first of all, like you, I used to write everything that was going through my head. Like, what should I write about this week? This thing. Oh, that sounds good. I had no idea about search engine optimization, like zero idea. I had no idea what type of images I should use in my content, why should I use them, and things like that. So that's something that I dropped. I learned on the way that I should optimize my content for search engines if I want Google to index it and my content to be found. I learned what keyword means, how should I choose my keywords for my specific niche. And the biggest thing I learned is listening to my audience, paying attention to what they like and want, how they respond to the content I share. At the same time, I started paying attention to what I like to write about, because it's one thing to have an idea, oh, I should write about this, and not like writing about that. And it's a different experience, for me at least, when you write about something you truly believe in. So I learned to listen to myself and write what I believe in and how my content helps other people. So when I write about something, I ask myself, how does this piece of content help someone? And this was a game changer for me, like totally. It was like a reinvention, if you'd like. So we talked about long form content. That would be another one that I learned because I used to write short content. And now it seems like I cannot stop writing, in the sense that I have to force myself to stop writing for an article, because I feel like I go too much in depth, to give too much information, and I don't know, people might get bored. But not the case. That's the thing. The analytics part side of it tells me exactly how my content is received by people.
Oh, I love all those great tips. And how about repurposing content? Like, how do you repurpose your blog content?
Well, there are several ideas. You can create codes from your content, so take a phrase or something or a sentence that can resonate with other people out of context, right?
Yeah.
And put an image under it in Canva or Adobe Spark, and you have a code to share on your social channels. Another thing is to post on Pinterest using keywords and hashtags and descriptions to bring traffic to your blog. I would go a bit further here, repin that pin in a month or so you can, bring it fresh in the eyes of other people. Speaking of live, you could do Facebook and Instagram live based on the topic of your blog post. So it starts with the topic, and you can go on from there. You can have a guest if you'd like. You can create short videos such as Facebook and Instagram stories and share the main points in your content. We were talking earlier about audio. You can record yourself with your phone talking about the main points in your article and share it on socials. If you want to gain subscriber to your website, you could create an ebook from that blog post. This is a great way to grow your email list. So these are a few ideas. There are many more. I'm sure that's what comes up.
Oh, I love those ideas. This is so amazing. I'm not doing any of them. I do create some quote images, but those are like the audio and short video. I love those really great tips. And you mentioned live, reminds me of Subi Zimberman, and she is an Instagram expert. And I frequently saw her, like every time when she releases a new blog post, she will go live on Instagram to talk about what the blog post is about. And she even created a highlight of her blog content on Instagram. I think those are really some great tips. Yeah. And here is a quick question from Zala. She asks you, those of you who speak more than one languages, so how about like translating blog into your mother tongue? And and she said that she do have some clashes when publishing in English and Slovenian language. Yeah.
Hey, Zara. I publish only in English simply because that's my target audience. I focus on US audience, US, Australia, and Canada. So that's why I write in English. But if your focus is for your country, you could write in your own language. But it depends how big you want to go. So, and with so many apps at hand, in no time, with AI around the corner, the content will be translated automatically. So you have to go with what works for you. So how do you feel better, writing in your own language or in English? What's your audience? Where is your audience? Is it in Slovenia or is it outside of it? So think about this way and then just go with what works best.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Like for me, I speak Chinese and I don't translate my articles into Chinese because I know my articles have no relevance because I'm talking about all those social media networks that most people in China don't even use. They use their own versions of social media networks. So my articles have zero value, even though I translate my articles into my native language. Yeah. So we are just going to wrap up here. Everyone, if you want to click on the Be Live link. Feel free to ask us a question or just come to say hi to us or ask your question before we wrap up here. And this is my last question. And Corina, you not only do you write blogs for yourself, for other websites, and you also review other people's guest blogs. So what do you think are some common mistakes that bloggers tend to make? And what can we learn from those mistakes?
Well, the biggest one I see all over the place is not reading the guidelines of the publication you want to write for. So spend time reading their guidelines. They have to have guidelines somewhere. If they don't, shoot them an email and ask them. Read them and study their publication, the type of content they write, and come up with a topic that is in line with their content. It's super important because it shows respect for the publication, for the owner of the publication. It shows that you are interested in, you're not in there just for your juices and that's it. And it will help build a relationship. Another thing I see is not promoting enough the content, with your own content and the content you write for other publication. I mean, it's not enough to write for somebody else and just share it once. You do have to share it. But like I said in the beginning, don't forget the 80-20 rule for sharing content and think of your audience and don't kill them with your content all over the place. So be mindful about that. That's huge for me, at least, unrealistic scheduling, publishing schedule. So if you want to write and publish as much as you want, but be realistic. I mean, don't commit to publishing or writing for this publication or that publication if you cannot do it. If you because you start committing and then life gets in the way, and you're like, you have to reach out and say, sorry, I cannot deliver your the article I promised because. And think of those people, because they have a publishing schedule. They have to publish content. They have an editorial calendar, and they promise your spot to you. So when you say you cannot deliver, they have to find a replacement right away, and that's not a good start for a relationship.
Oh, I just love those things, just like great points. And Zala was like resonating, don't overkill people with your own content everywhere. Yeah, I really think nowadays with the algorithm changes, I don't know if it's out, but like if you just like schedule the same content on so many different channels all over the place, I don't think your content is going to perform well. It's not just because you share it, people are going to see it, Sometimes less is more, we learned that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just to wrap up here, what is next for you, Corina, and how can we support you in terms of helping you promote or share your initiatives or endeavors?
Thank you so much. It's so kind of you. Well, I'm focused on growing my business. I'm focused on helping others succeed in building their personal brands online. So if you want to know more about my journey, subscribe to my blog, natpr.com. And other than that, if I can help with anything, just put a comment on this live and I'll come back and reply. And I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Yeah. Awesome. I just want to say hi to Jerry. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. And your final parting piece of advice in terms of blogging and where people can discover more about you. I already shared Corina's website, and I'm going to share her Twitter handle. And please make sure you see how amazing she is and the fountain of wisdom. I learned so much. I cannot wait to rewatch the replay myself. So make sure you follow her. And Corina, please share with us one parting piece of advice.
Super simple and short. Just start. You'll figure the rest on the way. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Start writing and publishing. In no time, 5 years have passed. Just do it.
I love this, simple and sweet and yet so powerful and so true. Interestingly, after interviewing so many people, and this is almost like a consistent piece of advice that I hear from so many people, just do it. That's like everyone. If I give advice to others, I think I will say the same thing, because been here and done that, all of us have fears. Just like take baby steps and get started. Yeah. And how can people discover you, Corina?
Blog, netpr.com, and I'm Corina Manea on social everywhere. So at Corina Manea.
Yeah. And I shared her Twitter. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, especially Corina, for joining us and staying up so late, almost midnight, all over from Spain. And we love you and we learned a lot from you. And thank you so much, everyone in the live audience. And I truly appreciate you guys. And next week, we have someone from Thinkific, an online course creation platform, to talk about online course creation. So I hope you can join us next Wednesday, the same time and same location. Thank you, Corina. And thank you, everyone. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.